only show. Make sure to go over to our sister channel. All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf. Tonight is a YouTube-only show. We are going to be over on YouTube. Tomorrow, we're only going to be on DLive. Of course, it is to make sure that the loyalty of each group is respected. So we'll be right back right after this. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. With that out of the way, my name is Adam. Welcome, guys. It is going to be a chocked full show today. I believe, again, we have over 30 stories that you have access to on marfugelnews.com. And just a reminder, we do not just say something without backing it up. In fact, if we show you here, if it's an article like this, statewide electric grid, it will be available on our website. In fact, if you go there now, you'll see that you'll just easily navigate through, look for this thumbnail, Elites Head Inland, and of course by inland I mean Texas, away from the coast. Once you click that, you'll see that we have every single document, every single video, every single archived document here is going to be right here. Every article, the source for it, so you know exactly where you're getting your news. You don't have to worry about not knowing if it's from a fringe source or this or that. We try to use authoritative sources and mix it with independent news as well, and we make sure to clarify when it's whenever it's which or which. So, with that out of the way, remember you can get notifications through our website, marfugelnews.com. In fact, if you go there, you can sign up for our email alerts as well. That will be the system we would have to use if other comms went down. Of course, we are now producing and trying to make another backup to that, which is actually, radio. That would be if everything went down. So, remember to go over there and check that out. We're also going to be introducing Dex, but remember, if you're on DLive, you're going to have to head over to YouTube tonight. Tomorrow, we'll be all on DLive. So, all right, let's get started. Dex, what is going on, and how are you doing tonight?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Fugel fam. I'm doing great, man. We got a lot packed into tonight's show. Really excited about it. I
mean, like a lot. If you go to the website, obviously, you can see that we have a ton of stuff. Some of it, you'll go, well, how is this in here, or why is it in here? We're going to make a point tonight that a lot of elites and a lot of very, very high up folks are going over to Texas or moving inland for some reason. Now, a lot of people are obviously going to say, oh, it's because they're going from one color state to the other. I don't think so. There's a lot of things about Texas that you should probably know, including they have their own power grid, which is, again, something that a lot of us preppers and people like me know about right now. Is a lot of things are happening with ourselves and other countries. So again, that is something that we need to pay attention to. I'm going to show you why, other than that, they may want to go to Texas. A lot of people don't know, even older generations don't know a lot about Texas. Unless you live there, you probably know everything about Texas because it's Texas. But Elon Musk and others, AT&T, in fact, Dex, you have kind of a small list there. Do we have a visual list of kind of some of the companies that are now moving their headquarters to Texas?
It's in one of the tabs. We certainly do. Right off the top of my head, I know Oracle, AT&T, Chase, or not Chase. Maybe it was Charles Schwab, and then of course recently the NRA and
Tesla
being the big one.
And he is not only moving his companies, he's actually moving there. Now, people say, oh, he just wants to get away from California. There's a lot of things going on, which we'll go over here tonight. A lot of movement. We have even a Forbes article saying that that China is preparing for a conflict. So we're going to go over that and much more. So prepare to stick around for a while. We're gonna be going all over that and everything else as well. Thank you all for being here. Let's get right into it. It says, this day in history, Texas joins the Union as the 28th state. Now, I don't know if this is the exact date, but we pulled this out to kind of give you a history on why. It says, Texas won its independence from Mexico in 1836, and it was an independent nation for more than 9 years before it joined the Union. But annexation into the United States was a topic that came up early and often. Now, the point here is that before Texas was, I believe, I want to say the 48th state. It was...
No, 28th.
I'm sorry, the 28th state. It was fought over multiple times. It was back and forth, and of course, Mexico, the U.S. were fighting over this. And again, it says the United States was initially disinclined to annex Texas. Americans were worried that they would spark a conflict with Mexico. And unfortunately, the then unresolved issue of slavery complicated matters. For their part, Texans were initially favor of annexation, but they withdrew their offer in 1838. Not too long after that, however, many in the United States changed their minds. They were worried about British interest in Texas and did not want the Texan Republic to join the British Empire. So think about that. It's actually quite wild if you are from the U.S. thinking of Texas as a part of the British Empire. It's almost comical to think about. But one thing that was included and put in this, and this is something that, to be honest, I didn't know until very recently, is that they were one of the few states that was pushed in. And in fact, I don't know if it's in this one.
I think it's in one of these, but it's a controversial position. So what it has, and I researched more on it, was that because they were brought into the Union and they were such a big state, and at the time they were their own independent country, they had a clause in their in the deal that said they could divide themselves into 4 states and Texas, meaning they could actually divide themselves into 5 states. But a lot of people have interpreted that to mean that if they wanted to go back to being their own independent, that they actually could. And I think there's a lot of controversy around that. Of course, legal people will say, no, they can't do that. But that's maybe they're looking at it from one point of the law.
And again, as far as it is now 2021, we have seen things that shouldn't legally be possible done almost every day. So I wouldn't put anything past anything at this point. In fact, not just because it's 2020, the whole thing through 2020, I wouldn't be surprised. It's 2020. Bad things will happen. It's because they've actually, I think, bent laws. And I mean, look at what is going on right now. Look at what is happening to kind of the over 200-year-old rules that we have. They're basically lining them up like bottles and going tink, 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 and just knocking them off. So this is why this all comes in. Will come in later. Again, I'm just kind of trying to break this down for you as far as Texas. One point is that it could secede at some point. That's why so many people talk about it seceding from the United States. The views of Texans is a little bit different. Of course, there's places in Texas like Austin that are a little bit different. But again, the whole point is they are pretty separate. They used to be their own country for gosh sakes. And then not only this, they have a statewide electric grid. It says, during the first half of the 20th century, power was produced, transmitted, and distributed locally. That meant local conventional power plants would generate electricity that would be then transmitted short distances and distributed to individual customers. For example, the Seaholm Power Plant was constructed in downtown Austin in the early 1950s to supply power and meet demand for the growing Austin area. It says that later, as transmission technology improved, the utilities could deliver power over longer distances. Utilities began to connect their electrical systems. This eventually developed into a shared Texas state grid. As having a shared electric grid was more efficient, it was reliable, and it was more economical money-wise, it said having having this energy was definitely beneficial to Austin. And it says this means we can generate renewable wind energy at our wind farms and utility scale solar plants and Texas coast and in the West Texas, which helps us reach sustainability goals. Okay, so here's the point. One, they're completely basically isolated as far as their grid can run on its own. So if something happens that knocks out the rest of the country, Texas will possibly, unless they try to hit Texas in a separate way, which that is also possible, but again, this will come in later. Texas has this system already set up, and it's not, basically it's not, it won't be tarnished by what happens around, especially if it was cyber. With EMP, I think that they have the DEMSO team, which EMP Shield, one of our affiliates, is actually working with them as well. They're officially on the DEMSO team, helping them prep their grid, which is a huge progressive step towards protecting it. Again, this is the same company that also DHS, DOD, and the U.S. executive order that was signed in 2018 went to go and improve the grid. Our grid is vulnerable. That is a fact. That is not a theory. That is something that experts have said time and time again. This is something I believe in truly that people should know. There's a lot of people that do not know how vulnerable our grid is. And there is pretty much everyone that takes power for granted. Anyone who has lost it for a week or even a couple days straight understands the value of power. This is something we didn't have a couple hundred years ago, and this is the first few generations that have had power. It is once you've kind of gone over to that system, and once you've been completely dependent on it, it's very, very disastrous when you lose it. If we lose the whole country, they say 90% of us could perish, and that is because of the breakdown for water supply. Not only that, so say power goes out, you see your local grocery stores empty out, everything is gone. And then, well, you'll say, oh, well, maybe they'll get some in a couple days. Well, that's not true at all. Once the power goes out for the whole country, the entire supply chain starts breaking down. The ports start breaking down. There is nobody to replace those things. Traffic will be standstill. Everybody will be panicked. Everybody will be trying to go everywhere else. Of course, there will be no supply. And not to mention, all the power goes off, most of the people that empty out that grocery store will not be paying customers, and they're definitely not going to be paying with credit card. So just to give you an idea, on top of that, the power that pushes along our water systems, everything else, that will all be down. So just think about that. And you're talking about a state that actually has access to the ocean, and it has access to Mexico by land. So Texas is this kind of state that if something goes down, a lot of folks say that if you were in the United States instead of, NZ or some other place, magically far away, expecting you to be able to get to Australia or something like this during the kind of a catastrophe, then you would want to be somewhere near Texas, or at least that's what a lot of people are saying. Now we have Elon Musk and this whole list of companies going there. And I think it is definitely less of a coincidence. I'll just say that.
And Adam, there's one other thing, and it just hit me. I forgot we had actually reported about this a couple of years ago when it happened. But, Texas opened the nation's first state-run gold depository. So they have their own gold depository, and it's state-run, and it's in Texas, and it's the biggest in the nation.
Yes,
and for a state-run depository.
I almost forgot that. So they have their own gold. They have their own system. Carmen Gizzi, thank you for the support, says Texas is the only state in the union. They can actually take care of itself. We don't need California, and we don't need the elites. I'm from Texas. I will fight to keep them out. Well, I don't know how you would do that, but again, I know there's a lot of people with your same opinion. But unfortunately, and what sucks is I've been thinking about it for a year. There's places like Houston that I would, the cheap rent and everything else. I'll just tell you, the average one-bedroom apartment is $2,000 a month here in Washington, in Seattle. If you can think about that, just the one-bedroom studios are about $1,600 to $1,800, $1,900. You're talking about, something where your bathroom, your kitchen, and your bed is in the same room. Those are $1,600, $1,700, $1,800. Imagine that. And imagine even if they did pass, all over the place $15, which they have in some parts of Seattle, say you're a server, they take that $15 and then they actually, in some places, take away your tips. So you're making $15. And if you add all of that up, that's barely what rent is if you're working regular hours. If you're working overtime, you might be able to eat. Again, there's a lot of people in that situation. I have 4 kids, and I have, again, a house. You can only imagine. So I've been thinking about going to Texas for now a year, and now there's a lot of evidence to say that there are people going there very fast, like moving whole companies, doing whatever they can to get out of and off of the coasts. Do you think that there's anything there? Again, I'm not trying to pull where there's nothing there, but again, we've seen all of these huge companies, and a lot of real estate agents have come forward and said it is the strangest thing that all of these just incredibly wealthy are going there. Everybody says, oh, it's because of the politics of it. I don't know about that. And the reason I don't know about that is because of the other news that is happening and the other things that are not being talked about. And some of it is being reported all over the world, but just not reported in our place or in our allies. If you go other places, or if you, with your VPN, put yourself somewhere else, you can see a whole lot more news than you would normally see. So China, we're going to get to that here in a second. I think something bigger is going down here, and I'll stick to my grid on that one. D Earth Observer says, when the grid goes down, you better be ready. D Earth Observer, thank you for the generous support. We do appreciate that. D Earth Observer again says, free your mind and the rest will follow. Thrive on FugelFam. D Earth, I don't know if your name is unfamiliar. If you're new, thank you so much. That is not necessary, or if it was a mistake, let me know. You can email me at marfugelnews@gmail.com. Again, thank you. Susan Donahue says, much love from the coast south of San Francisco. I'll be reporting from the coast. Big waves, high winds for now. And I'll just add in hashtag Team Humanity. That was Susan Donahue. Thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for being here. Andrew McCabe from Canada, thank you for your support as well. You can always put a message there. Bill I. Breckenridge says, God bless you, Adam Dex Mods, all you do. Thank you for being the last one out last night. All right, now, this is more of an article. If you do go to this on our website, this is more explaining how the Texit kind of thing is put together. But we will possibly... I'll just read this one part. It says, in the wake of Britain's historic vote to leave the European Union, nicknamed the Brexit, speculation of a Texit on the horizon has cropped up once again. The secessionist movement has a long history in the Lone Star State. Delegates for the Texas Party even recently debated adding secessionist language to the party's platform. But is it actually legal for Texas to leave the United States? Simply put, the answer is no. Historical and legal precedents make it clear that Texas could not pull off a Texit, at least not legally. And that is the one point. That's where everybody keeps coming back to. But would they do it legally if they did it? Don't know. In fact, it is 2021. Anything could happen. Then again, this pretty important. It says the legality of seceding is problematic, said Eric McDaniel, associate professor of government at the University of Texas at Austin. It says, quote, the Civil War played a very big role in establishing the power of the federal government and cementing that federal government has the final say in these issues. So one thing that also could happen is people flock there. It is one of the largest states. And then you see some sort of conflict, and they battle it out, and in the end, they set their boundaries. That's something that used to happen. Who knows? People are so far away from conflict, like real conflict that affects us here at home. And by home, I mean if you're in Australia, if you're in Europe, or if you're in the U.S., we don't have some of the things that some third world countries have. You don't have missiles going over your head constantly, or air raid sirens, playing daily. This is something that is very distant, especially for my generation. I'm in my 30s. Even if you're in your 40s or possibly a little bit in your 50s, they don't remember WW2 or WW1. We are due for another world cataclysmic conflict. And with everything that has happened, it is pretty clear. I mean, the writing is on the wall however many times, that no matter what side you're on, that something bigger is happening than just sides. Everybody is worried about what side they're on or what side their family's on. That is a huge distraction in my opinion, and everybody talks about distractions. What do you guys think? I'm going to go over to the chat. Again, not everybody's going to agree. If you are in the chat room, generally, just want to let you guys know, you can't talk about other creators. You can't talk badly about other people. You can't talk badly about platforms. That is something we expect here over on YouTube. And again, when we do our DLive show, only shows again as well. All right, and then if you guys want to protect yourself, this is a big deal. If you have not been here before, if you're new, then you should definitely look into EMP Shield. That is the company I was talking about. Not only have they been contracted by the U.S. government to help them prep their grid, but they've also been helping Texas, and they're part of the DEMSO team, the official DEMSO team, to actually help protect the Texas grid. It can protect against all three phases, E1, E2, and E3 phases of an EMP. And again, of course, this protects you against lightning. That's just a given. And then, of course, it can protect against solar flare. This is a really good item as well for your car. It takes 5 minutes for you to put it in and wire it yourself. You can do that. And so you don't get stuck somewhere. If something like this happens, a solar flare, a Carrington event, which they say will happen again, then you won't be stuck somewhere trying to get home or trying to get away from home. It's 100% American made and a veteran-owned business. Go to marfugelnews.com/VPN and get $50 off per device. Again, this is something that you might want to get on your car, your house, your generator, your boat, your RV, your ham radio. They make the devices for all of them. All right.
And Adam?
Yes.
And while we're on that subject, I think if you click to the next slide, the contest that they have going right now with Andrew has launched.
Okay.
So you can let people know if they want to go enter. You just go to marfugelnews.com/contest because they're giving away. We're working with Andrew, and he's promoting his bug out channel. So when you go there, you'll see Andrew himself, his face, but this is in conjunction with Marfugel. So if you go there, you get a chance to enter and win. And I believe there's about 28 days in this contest. So you can actually enter multiple times over and over again to increase your chances if you want to win an EMP Shield.
Okay, so this is awesome. So we have constantly asked, a lot of you have said, because you've missed previous contests, not everybody does them. So I hope more people end up doing them. That's the great part about this is you should have some pretty good chances here, especially with multiple ways to enter. The people that are really on it, I think, will have a really good chance. These items are not cheap because they are professional. They are items that actually can protect you against this. They are military grade. These items are made by a company that is actually helping to protect the grid. There's not really anything like it. So again, go here and do this. We've asked them all the time. And Andrew, this is how cool their company is. Andrew is one of their head marketing guys. He used to have a YouTube channel. Now he's restarting it. He had over 100,000 people. Then it got overwhelming. He ended up going out, and now he's restarting that. So I would really hope that the Marfugel fam will love mob him as well. He's going to be doing prep and utility stuff and all sorts of things. On top of that, you will not only get a discount, you'll get to be entered in this, all sorts of really cool things. So please go over there, marfugelnews.com/contest, and basically you're going to be asked to go either subscribe, like, or something like that, but go check out Andrew. Andrew has been the one who's dealt with the Fugel fam. He's been extremely nice. He's gone out of his way, and they don't say any of this. They don't go public about it. He's done such sweet things for people in the Fugel fam. He's heard people's stories and was touched by stories in the Fugel fam. He ended up going out and helping a couple of them. So just please support Andrew. He's really an amazing guy. He's one of the top people up there. That company is just amazing. So again, I hope everybody supports them like they support us, and I hope you guys check out his channel again. I hope he gets back up to 100, and I hope he surpasses me. All right. That is really cool to know. That's again marfugelnews.com/contest. Don't say that we didn't tell you. All right, Jay Ginther, thank you so much. Texan here, have friends moving from Canada saying that they have now seen Russian troops along with Chinese in Canada. I don't know if that's true, but geez, that would be extreme if it was. Again, I've seen lots of videos. I always try to wait until I can confirm anything. If you want to tell any of your Canadian friends to call us and give us their witness testimony, I would love to have them do that. I really would. Seriously. Okay. News only Tuesday, so let's go through this. This is why I say this. Those boomers China sent towards Taiwan, ? They were a dress rehearsal for war. Now, this is Forbes. This isn't The Sun, or this isn't, the Inquirer. This is Forbes saying that those boomers that China sent towards Taiwan, that Taiwan had to chase off, that was a dress rehearsal for conflict. Look at what China has done. China has actually set up the Taiwanese capital, the entire thing, a mock version of it for drilling on how to take their capital down. I shouldn't have even said that because, we've got our thing. So with China drilling to do that, they've made, from satellite photos, they have made a replica of Taiwan. This is some pretty insane stuff. Sorry if I blew that up there, but this is insane stuff. And we, of course, this is going to be completely involved with all of the allies versus these guys. So again, this says 3 days after Pres JB took office in Washington, D.C., the Chinese People's Liberation Army Air Force sortied a powerful formation of new H-6K boomers towards Taiwan. And of course, I'm saying boomers on purpose here. The same day, the U.S. Navy sailed the aircraft carrier USS Theodore Roosevelt and her escorts into the South China Sea. It says the timing wasn't a coincidence. The boomers, which are compatible with YJ-12 anti-ship missiles, were training for strikes on carriers such as the Roosevelt. Chinese state media explained. It says, but in probing Taiwan's air defense identification zone, the twin-engine boomers were preparing for an equally important role, lobbing missiles at the Taiwanese forces in preparation for an amphibious assault on the island. What have the U.S. been drilling on nonstop since last year and a half ago? Island hopping. They've been training to fight in the dark. They've been training to fight underground. They've been training to fight in urban locations. They've been planning for a large event for at least 5 years. I know it's longer than that, but I mean publicly, where we can go back and look at even 2015 and look at some of these things in 16 and 17. We're talking about the citywide drills, what happened in all of the U.S. cities. You're talking about what they've done in you had Vegas, you had California, you had L.A. having Black Hawk helicopters evacing. You had on the ground, you had special military units setting up blocks and all this kind of stuff. Do you guys think that was for some sort of fantasy kind of drill just for fun? Because I don't. And some folks say, oh, they've been saying this for years. Oh, yeah, conflict is coming. This is not something, they don't just jump headfirst into it and go, oh, we should have thought about how we were going to do this. You're talking about one country possibly taking over another country. This is so well thought out and so advanced that they have so many facets. They have different departments worried about every single facet there is, just as we do as well. So you can hate me, you can disagree with me, you can say, we're full of it. But you can also tune out. You don't have to listen, and you can go about your day. If you choose to look at what our track record is as far as giving you accurate information, correcting what we give you that is wrong, and predicting things based on multiple sources. We never just say, okay, one dude says there's troops in Canada. We don't just say, okay, there's troops there. More so, we don't wait until there's 100 people emailing us. If there's a YouTube video out there and 100 people saw that YouTube video, we're not going to just say, oh yeah, 100 people told us because they saw a YouTube video. That's the thing. We make sure that we're talking to actual military or actual sources that know what they're talking about. Our end all goal is that we would like to be a respected news source. Of course, it's a hard game to break into if you don't have millions of dollars. But what we do have is a lot of heart. And we're going to keep trying, and we're going to keep rolling with the punches as all of these platforms are basically snuffing out anything besides the three-letter agencies. You know, Fox, CNN. So I hope you guys understand. I wouldn't say this lightly. I think we are getting closer by the day. It doesn't matter about who is in office or who's this or who's that. In my opinion, this is all one massive play.
Adam, when that incursion happened, 3 days after JB was in, when the boomers came through, did you know that Taiwan's Air Force actually deployed missiles? And they said to, quote, monitor, close quote, the incursion. Literally deployed missiles.
So I guess, you know, with everything that is happening right now, you also have China telling their soldiers, and this has been reported all over the world, telling their soldiers to not only get ready for conflict, which some just poo-poo that off and say, oh, it's saber rattling. This isn't exactly the country that does that like the other guys, right? You've got Xi Jinping literally saying to get ready for a conflict. And you have Chinese nuclear scientists all resigning at the same time. Half of their nuclear scientists, I want to say 90, it was at least 70, all resigning same day because of something they had moral grounds with, they didn't agree with. And then you even had, I think, an attempted cover of that a couple months later. Something is happening bigger than ever. And one thing I think is I want to try to talk to family, and this is pretty direct to say. I want to get off the coast, period. Like, besides Cascadia, I'm talking like far away from the coast and away from big cities. And I know I'll get crap for saying that. It's no fun to have everybody, you know, come at you for saying something. It's called cancel culture. Cancel culture vultures. Do you guys see the writing on the wall, or am I crazy? Thank you again. By the way, Recalcitrant, Bear Claws, Mama of Six, Gone Girl 777, Terrorize. Thank you for following me over on DLive while we were on there. Thank you, everybody that came over. I really do appreciate you. Joshua Avery says, keep up the good work, guys. Lady G476, thank you for coming over as well. Joshua Hathaway says, I live in Houston, been with the Fugel fam since your presidential alert video years back. If Mr. B can get in office by fake, then Texas can secede if we see fit. Thumbs up us. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't see too much legality going on anywhere. So, again, you're probably right. Open House, Texas. I wonder where he's from. Or she from. I guess that could be a woman as well. Feels like the movie Wag the Dog. Can we start AV GoFundMe to help you guys get a new platform going? We need you guys to stay on. So, just so you know, a whole new platform would take millions. That would be like almost not even worthwhile trying. What we need, though, is to get everybody together. That's why we need to start working together. We need to change the mindset. You guys need to share and get as many people in. One way that I could get people to get under the same cause is if we did gain some of the respect as far as size-wise. I do think that is part of it. There is nobody that's really surpassed the 500,000 mark, and if they did, they were removed. I already have people like Brian High Impact. He was 500,000 before that. He still is on one of them. You've got even Mr. Boo there. We should have somebody like him. There are people that I don't get along with, but I think we should be working together. I think we should squash our petty beefs, and I think we need to all team up. I think we all need to look past, all this BS. So if you guys want to help, share us out. JT says, Marf, a close friend who's a master diver / care diver or cave diver, says got tapped by the gov to train. Oh, got tapped by the government to train troops to find complex IEDs off the coast and the Great Lakes. JT, I would love to talk to that person. Even if it was an off-camera thing, I would love to confirm that. And that it sounds completely believable. Trained to find complex IEDs off of the coast in Great Lakes. Wow. N95H says, come on down to Texas, Marf. We'll have you. I would love, I really do have a respect for Texas. Krista R says, hi, Fugle fam. Grace for you too. Hey, nice to see you. And thank you so much for popping over. All right. SpaceX launches a record 100 plus satellites on a Falcon 9 rocket. Now, again, this is more of a just letting you know. This is in a week. I mean, like, we have seen so many satellites go up. This is 100 plus satellites in a day. That's pretty nuts. Record 100 plus satellites on a Falcon 9 rocket. There's not much there. I mean, honestly, again, we're going to see thousands and thousands go up over the next couple of years. What is the sky going to actually look like? What is actually on these things? That's what I wonder as well. Yeah, and especially talking about what we actually covered and kind of talked about the other night, lasers instead of the 5th generation, as far as internet, laser internet, beamed down directly to you from a satellite. Crazy stuff. Just to remind you, 100 plus satellites, all like record, like we need to get them up there fast. Starlink getting shot up there. Remember, Starlink is not only internet. We broke the story. It is a fact. It is not theory. It is confirmed by all authoritative sources that they are also going to be using Starlink for tracking hypersonic items, such as missiles, and hypersonic speed items, such as meteors. So remember that. Meet the people paying $55 million each to fly to the space station. Now, I know that there's some people that you could pay them $55 million to believe this, and they still wouldn't. Because, if they have $55 million, they're not going to be regular people like you and I. These are billionaires that have the spare change to go like, oh, I want to go on vacation. Can we go to the ISS? I want to poke a thumb-size hole in it and then put a piece of gum in it and go, yeah. 2 are grandfathers. The other 3 have young children. All 3 are extremely wealthy with the means to pay $55 million ticket price for an 8-day stay on the International Space Station. It says they would be the first would-be space flight crew comprised entirely of private citizens in a mission to the station. Sometime early next year, if it all goes according to the plan, Trio, Larry Connor, and the managing partner of the Connor Group, a real estate investment firm based in Ohio, Mark Pathy, the chief executive of Maverick Corp, a Canadian investment firm, Aitin Stibb, a businessman, and former Air Force fighter pilot, will lift off from Kennedy Space Center aboard a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft for what is scheduled to be an 8-day stay on the International Space Station. Now, the reason I'm paying attention to this is if these are 5 people paying $55 million, that's $260 million or whatever it is, 280. If they end up, if this thing blows up, has a slight anomaly, that would be big news. So I'm going to be following this if they are actually launching whatever else. And if something goes wrong, that is going to be a shite show. So we'll be following that. We'll give you updates as it comes closer. They're supposedly going to be space tourists. We'll see.
The most expensive hotel room in the world is between $100,000 and $200,000 a night. I think it's varied before. But Fortunately, this is 6.8 million per night, but I think because it's in space, it won't necessarily displace the other hotel room.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any kind of room service for that price. You know, are they going to bring a Jeeves with them? You know, some guy who's like floating through the sky, handing you or putting a chocolate on your pillow.
I guarantee you the hotel that's $100,000 a night has a bidet in it, and I promise you the ISS does not.
Yeah, they're gonna have their poo floating around. That's pretty bad. Well, the JL-3, the new missile, raising the cost of a U.S. raising the cost of a U.S. fight with China. It says, so basically saying that this thing's so expensive that if we use it, it's super expensive. It says it has already been tested 3 times, but so far China is saying nothing. The JL-3, the country's most advanced submarine-launched long-range missile, is projected to be fully integrated with the PLA's next generation of submarines in 2025, but China has not officially confirmed that it is even under development. Nevertheless, it is still a threat and one of the number of missiles that could put the PLA's army within striking distance of a continental United States, according to an American military report. Remember the actual task force with Congress, all of this other stuff they have been talking about, they said that they are serious about this. So this has gained a lot. The people in the know are more fearful than the regular citizens. So what does that tell you? Observers say that the threat will give China a credible nuclear deterrence effect and second strike power against rivals. So think about that. And then if you want to help support us in a different way and protect yourself against cyber threats, I would highly recommend getting a VPN. This is also a good way to get news outside of the country you live in. You can also put yourself somewhere else. Basically what it does is it hides your IP. Your IP address is your direct address. If somebody has your IP, they can track you down and go to your house. Again, this is a good way to stop that from happening. It stops data logging. It can protect your data while you're traveling or in public places like Starbucks using the Wi-Fi. Again, this is a really big deal if you are on any kind of device for any period of time. This also can be uploaded or downloaded right onto a phone. So it's very easy. There's an easy mode where you literally press on and off. It's a switch, like a light switch even. So you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to be a tech guru. You don't have to be a Dex. You can easily get this by going to marfugelnews.com/VPN and get up to 70% off on a 3-year plan. Not only that, you'll be helping the channel. So thank you so much for doing that in advance. Anyone that has done it or will do it or at some point in the near future.
Even if you don't think you need it, you actually need it. We've talked about this before, because there's going to come a day when you're going to want it and you won't even be able to get it. And that's why, getting something like this, and it's so cheap, but getting it and getting like the 3-year deal, because you don't know what's going to happen in 3 months or 6 months. And if you can't buy it then what are you going to do? So,
and what Dex is talking about is, so this could help in censorship ways. All sorts of things are happening right now. If you were to put yourself somewhere else, they might find that this kind of service is not a good thing to have, right? So they might not make it available on app stores and things like this, just as we saw with certain apps recently, because this actually has a lot of uses in that arena as far as getting information that you're not supposed to be getting. So make sure to go check it out. Ed Brown, thank you so much for your support tonight. You can always write a message there next time. You know that. You've done it before. Vault1111, thank you for coming over from DLive. Power outages coming nationwide. Hope everyone is preparing. Mr. B also was speaking of a national lockdown the other day. We don't have much time left. There's a lot of really crazy things happen in Vault, and that is a very good point. Honda Mom J says lots of space in West Texas and Panhandle. Come on. Honda Mom, I would be glad to. Kitty Rose cleared pasture land in Lalano, Texas with well and power. 17-plus acre, $235,000. Come get it, Adam. So Kitty Rose, $235,000 does not get you a house here. It doesn't get you a one-bedroom house. That would get you like a piece of barren land out in the sticks. Like not acres, like ache. It would just get you aches, like back aches, headaches. It wouldn't even get you acres. Yeah. COVID. All right, let's move on. And video explosion rocks Amsterdam suburb during anti-lockdown unrest. It says protests against new related lockdown restrictions, particularly a curfew introduced in the Netherlands on the 23rd of January, have been ongoing since Sunday. Some of the demonstrations evolved into riots, with violent protesters looting stores, storming through the streets, and smashing vehicles and turning them over. Now it says an explosion rocked the suburb of Osdorp on Tuesday night, where the protests against the curfew restrictions were underway. Video shared on social media platform on Tuesday shows a white truck emit plumes of smoke before erupting in a loud explosion. Now, you guys can actually, on the original, we have linked, we can't play it because of copyright reasons, but you can go over and actually watch this video if you go to marfugelnews.com. You can see that big plume of smoke. Remember, you can access all of these articles and more. Again, there's more. There's a ton more on marfugelnews.com. And then we have widespread internet outages hits Northeast U.S. Verizon reported a fiber cut in Brooklyn via Twitter. Although it's not clear if that issue is responsible for the entire outage, the internet service provider didn't have any estimate when the problem spot would be fixed. It says neither Verizon nor Comcast, another major internet service provider, immediately responded to requests for comment. People posting on Twitter reported having issues connecting with various online services from Washington to Boston. A broad swath of that includes the key U.S. government services, as well as major financial companies such as Fidelity Investments. The outage is affecting major internet and cloud providers as well, such as Google and Facebook. Dex, would you say that there's writing on the wall?
Yeah, what's interesting is how I don't know the one fiber, and certainly it could, but it just didn't seem right that it's just one fiber in Brooklyn took down all of that, right? So I don't know what the status is now. I think a lot of it's probably returned. You don't see an outage out that long, but to have an outage like that certainly raises questions. What exactly happened? Did somebody cut the fiber and something else happen along with that? Why did the fiber get cut?
It doesn't.
Certainly want to look into it.
It doesn't make sense. Hey, Vinny. Hey, come over here. There's a fiber. Yeah. Can you give me the? Yeah. No, I'm not doing anything. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Of course, this is actually an article. This is a video, and I want you guys all to watch this, regardless of what side. I think you will have a good time. I think, in fact, just watch.
Asking the American people to mask up for the first 100 days. I've issued executive orders requiring masks on federal property and interstate travel, trains and planes and buses. One congressman pointed out he used a very, colorful term to say, wearing a mask, I tell him to kiss my ear.
Wait, hold on. Let me go back.
Kiss my ear. I'm not going to wear a mask. Well, guess what? Not very American. The fact is, you want to be patriotic, you're going to protect people. And new COVID-19 variants we are instituting new measures to deal with these individuals flying into the United States from other countries. You've all if you can hold a second, you've all heard about the strain, the British strain, the Brazilian strain, the South African strain, and they seem to be more transmittable more easily. So in addition to wearing masks, everyone flying to the United States from another country.
I guess I need to get the captions.
All those strains.
All those
with
strains.
all those strains, Adam. Almost thinking there's like some ganja going on here. There's lots of strains of ganja to talk about kissing my ear.
Well, no, okay. So sorry, I don't care. I don't think, no matter what side you're on, I don't think you would want this man kissing your ear. Just saying. Just saying. Kiss my ear. Oh, Joe, come on, man. Stop it. A little bit lower. All right, moving on. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Patrick Leahy was taken to a hospital. This, of course, is Mr. D, of course, who is scheduled to preside over the second trial of former PDT. If you guys know what I'm talking about, Commander-in-Chief, old former President DT. And he was taken to the hospital. So it just so happens the first one wouldn't preside. The second one is getting taken to the hospital. Something's going on here. Also, the Washington Post actually put out a story saying that basically nearly all of the GOP people have voted against the trial. So it will likely go to an acquittal. So
they needed 17 to flip. They only got 5 in an early what would have appeared to be an early vote.
Well, and then
Rand was doing.
Some people said that they didn't understand why it was even happening because he is now a citizen. And you cannot do it to a citizen, or at least that's what a lot of experts were even saying.
And there's not a Supreme Court justice sitting over it and presiding over it. that have a Democrat preside over it is kind of weird and not appropriate, I think.
Either way, we'll see. There is a lot more news tonight. It's a news only Tuesday. Trying to see here. There's videos, lots of things. New York City mob beats and stomps on, strips and robs a 26-year-old in Manhattan. And this is pretty bad stuff. I would highly say if you are from New York, I would watch this and report any involved. If you know who these people are, if you... Again, you might not have known this happened. That is something that I would say 12 on 1 virtually. That's just sick. Lots of things that we cannot really talk about here tonight. There's some pretty big stuff on here. So make sure we have taken the time to basically correlate this all into one spot for you. If you're watching the replay, if you're sitting on the pot or whatever you're doing in the morning, drinking your coffee, we have actually put all of this together for you to be able to go through all of the important news and not have to search all over the place. And you know that we're coming at it from as neutral of a position as possible. We've put both sides of the story in on almost everything. So again, thank you guys for supporting us throughout all of this kind of stuff. Again,
and Adam, the one there with the press secretary, though, I think you may have it on the screen because I'm looking at it delayed. But that was a key question that goes back to our power grid, and you have to play it. I can explain it. JB basically undid an executive order, and one of the ones he undid said that it was that we were doing certain things to protect the grid to prevent China from coming in. And the question asked is, okay, well, if you're going to hold a strong stance against China, why would you have just undid an executive order that kept them out of our grid? Now they presumably can get into our grid because we're no longer going to fight against that.
And
does that make sense?
No,
and I'm not saying politically. I'm just talking about the grid protection.
And this is why some of the orders, like making the EpiPens and the insulin way just astronomically more expensive. It sided with it. Here's what I predict in the next few months. I think that a lot of the media is going to go back into, back in 2016, guarantee you if Hill won, I believe that they would have been tearing her a new one as well. Here's one thing, there'll be a couple months of grace period, But here's the thing. Most of these media companies, they want ratings, they want dirt, they want to pick on him. Now that he is in office, I bet they are starting to ask some really, kind of hardcore questions. And you'll probably see who are the good reporters and who aren't. The ones that aren't afraid to just kind of go after him. Because that's what gets ratings. Now that it's done, I think that they are going to go hardcore. This press secretary probably not her position. Let's just say that. I don't think this is her normal position. She said, she's not a public speaker, or at least it doesn't look like it. So, you could do a drinking game off of ums. So, what this new thing is with this is they're going to start getting the really hard questions as well. So, I think that we're going to see a whole big change of things. But one thing I would like for them to ask is, why are they undoing things that, don't have anything to do with any of this and are supporting pharmaceuticals, are supporting big companies? I thought that's what during the campaign and stuff, they were saying that they didn't want that. Literally flip-flopping by the day. So we'll see. Dex, thank you.
All the money.
Thank you as
All
well.
the money. Yep.
N95H. I beat Corn Pop by kissing ears and sniffing hair. I'm Sleepy J, and I forgot this message. That's awesome. I beat Corn Pop by kissing ears and sniffing hair. I'm Sleepy J, and I forgot this message. The forgot this message is the best part. Like, I approved this message. That got me. Thank you. Yeshua's Disciple thought tonight is the anniversary of the last Cascadia megaquake, January 26, 1700 at 9 p.m. They know when the tsunami reached Japan, so they know the time of the quake. Yeshua's Disciple, that's insane. That is a really great point. That is why we know exactly when, because it took however many hours, 3 or 5 hours or something like that, for it to hit Japan. They know down to pretty much to the minute when that hit. That creeps me out. The dogs were howling last night. Dogs and animals have been acting weird. We've gotten a lot of tremors just in the last week here in Washington. Really creepy stuff. Now, remember, do not miss our notifications. You can get our own. People are, sometimes I think it's kind of just straight up lazy. They might just not go there and push this little bell. That's how easy it is to get push notifications to your phone. Make sure to go over there, marfugelnews.com, get our notifications. You'll also get any of our articles. Again, make sure to check that out. Do you think that the elites and others are going to Texas because they believe something bigger is going to happen? Comment below. Tell me what you think. If you stuck around this entire show, let me know. This is News Only Tuesdays, so again, tomorrow will be a normal show. We'll have calls. We will, I believe, be on D-Live only tomorrow. So make sure to join us over on D-Live tomorrow. Thank you, everyone that supported tonight. Thank you, Amy R. Thank you, Veteran Steve. Thank you, everyone in the audience. End Times. We cannot host, I guess. I guess we could. No, we won't. Thank you, everybody. Much love. Dex, thanks for helping out tonight. Thank you for being the man, the internet man with the plan.
Much love.
And it is now officially time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Tomorrow night, we are going to be on Ann Lynn Show. So make sure to join us. All you loyal Marfugals who are still here, the Ann Lynn Show tomorrow. I will tweet out the exact time. Make sure to follow over at Marfugal. Make sure to follow. Ann Lynn Show. Everybody really want going back my way. With the island going in the transform today with the reason highlight. Whoa. Dazed and confused with the blonde and the beach guy. Joe on the Kobe Jack, Cole, Bradley, Biff, I, Susan Donahue, and L. Michelle. D Earth Observe, thank you so much for your massive support tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. Barefoot Lass, big thanks to you and the mods. Big thank you to the mods. Barefoot Lass, Krista R, Pray and Prep Up fam, J-Stone 78, West Virginia. Those mods are going to be on a show soon. We're doing a mods only show and we're just going to chat around for a couple hours. With the Krista R, bring it on the N95H. Everybody singing, everybody going boom. Like we roam. Watch Jericho, the series, and they end up in Texas. Eat a Dago and the Wolves, 55 on the check it. Or in the back with the Indy Rose and CHS, Tennessee on the brand new man. Cascadia yacht, civil defense. Hey, a yabba dabba sax. I bring it with C and cricket. Lulu, Gale, Firestorm, Andy on Guam. Jim, L.O.B. and Moody Mom. Joe, Adams, Cole, Lido, Christina. Rook, L, R, and everybody R. Bring it back down and OGR. Major Ron and Joe Low with the Rolo. Lisa K, bring it down. Shastina, bring it down. I want an EMP, Jill says when I contest. Go and make sure to fill out. Yabba dabba sexy and Harry on the hits, Joe Adams on the NATO back, no pay, don't be. I bring it with a P, N. With the PM, bring it back, doing every day now. Each shot long, sweet, savory words now. John, hey, Doom on the white feet. MJ going back way on the way. Day, hey, day, island girl, I live by the sea. and get a notification. Dinner for my team, and I need more cowbell. Whoa. Ed G. Whalen was late. Looks like we're going to have to start over the show. What's up, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marv, and this is Marfugal News. I'll be right back right after this. Psych! If you really want to fight. Sitting down here, Ed Brown. D Earth Observer, thank you so much. Got to judge what had to weigh. Thank you so much for being here today. The Earth Observer, thank you for being heard. Bill of Breckenridge and the engine McKay. Everybody wanna and now decay. Given to the pure pressure, now they love. Push and shove, Carmen Gizzy on the busy. Oh, everybody knows they dizzy. Oh, get into a jiffy. Oh, get in a jiffy. Oh, from the coast out, San Francisco. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Wait, Dev Bell, B, Moody, Mom, Recalcitrant, Jay Ginter, 1981. And the Carmen, and the Gizzy No, and Mr. Sun, and Andrew McKay, every bill I Breckenridge, just Psycho now. Jeff P, Robert Lyon, Mikey Six, and Eric Norman. Louisiana, Skywatch, Vanessa Doe, Gen X Voice, and Neil Ness, oh, and the Moonflower. Thanks for pledging on OPG. It's this one. If I could go and find a keyboard warrior. Nope. the way, it looks like someone is a bit confused. Somebody says, oh, so you're censoring us now too, huh? By the way, there are rules in the chat. We do not talk smack about other people, other creators, and we also have a general basic set of rules. If you are muted, don't take offense. They're just going straight by the rules. It's nothing personal. But also, on top of that, it is not censoring to mod your own chat. We own these channels. I physically could sell this channel if I wanted to. It is my house. It's just like going into somebody's house, putting your feet up on their table with mud on it, and saying F you. How long do you think you would stay in that person's house? Pretty simple. Kiss my ear, bring it back, no fear. I do it that. Jennifer Martinez and Angela Schnelly. So jelly with a DS, bring it back now. Shastina, do it now. With the gunner, in the bring it back down in the rabbi. In the rabbit and listen, Sherry. With the chariot circle now. By the way, Sherry, it's been a while. It's nice to see you here again. Love seeing old school Fugle fam. This is why I like doing only shows, because I get to see the original Fugles. Rebecca Pina, thank you for being here. Lord Andrew, you've been here a long time too. Huru TV, Raquel R, Lisa R Hall, VIP. The modest with the mostest. The modest with the mostest. That's good. The most modest mod with the mostest. The most modest mod with the mostest. Lisa R Hall. We got to come up with something for J Stone. Well, Bones is Bones, so I can't say the bone. The modest with the bones is Jay Stonus. Bonus. Oh, bonus! Oh, got it, Jay. Jay Stonus. Oh, it's such a bonus. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh. Jay Stonus. Oh, oh, with the bonus. Oh, 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 oh. Jay Stonus, with the bonus, 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 Stonus, with the bonus, Smile, it spreads like a virus. Everybody wanna go back behind us. 99 and Mary Gunn going out down deep and they grabbed her gun with Shastina and the Andy on Guam. Oh, maybe don't wanna be on Guam. Not now with NK shooting bombs. We'll wait now on the Rita on the skirts and the Burt now with the Mr. Bones. Bonus now and everybody home. Cause it's a lot of down. Doing it like wah wah ha ha. Wah ha. Gotta do it like ha ha ha. Jay Stone is at the bonus with the cackling go. Going right back on the back home. Good night, everybody on Dorothy Wright. Thanks from above. Hey, thanks for support. Bring it right back in. Yes, I core. Hey, now, bring it back down. Love it on down. Gotta see you all next time. It's so fine. With the Donna on the Hoffman. That's Eddie on the civil defense. And everybody awesome, awesome. I said awesome. With with the Liz Marsh and the Charles Brown, Lou Parks and Lisa K. Around, Senior and Junior. Got a cascade, bring it right back to ya. Lisa R. Hall A. With the Patty Mabu, I love you. I do exactly what I do. Oh, kicks, Route 66, killing it with Mama of 6. Yes, I need a Taurus. I need more of all the lover. Bring it on, shover. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. I love Chihuahuas. Out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window. Seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Virgo news, where are you? Only news I use. More Virgo news, where are you? Only news I use. More Virgo news. I'm looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Looking outside of my window, seeing a crescendo. I'm not going out there where apocalypse roams. Thank you, Jerry Zirkle, Yabba Dabba, Stormy7572. Thank you all. Love ya. Have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. And